A bridesmaid named Andy. Andy stood at the edge of the grand ballroom, his hands clenched around a delicate bouquet of baby's breath and pink roses. The air was thick with the scent of fresh flowers, fine perfume, and something else, something sharper, glossier. His dress. The latex gown his sister had insisted on. The fabric hugged his frame in ways he wasn't used to, and every time he moved, it made the faintest squeaking noise. It felt odd against his skin, smooth, tight, unnatural. He had spent the entire morning being primped and polished, from the careful application of makeup to the tedious buffing of the latex so that it shone under the chandelier lights. His mother and aunt had gushed over him, insisting he looked simply divine. His sister had been so excited, clasping his hands and grinning ear to ear as she reassured him over and over that he was her perfect bridesmaid. But now, standing alone, the weight of everything pressed down on him. The nerves, the embarrassment, the unusualness of it all. His mind buzzed with memories of the day, learning to walk in heels without wobbling, the unfamiliar sensation of lipstick on his mouth, the tight cinch of the corset beneath the dress. It was too much. He felt silly. And yet, across the room, someone was watching him. Will. His best friend. Will had seen Andy through every awkward phase, every bad haircut, every childhood misadventure. And now, Andy could see it in his face. He knew. He knew Andy was struggling. With an easy confidence, Will made his way over, dodging guests with the kind of effortless charm Andy wished he could channel. "Hey," he said, his voice warm as he leaned in slightly, keeping his tone low. "You look incredible." Andy swallowed. "I look ridiculous." Will arched an eyebrow. "No, you look fabulous. I mean, look at this dress. It's the shiniest thing in this whole place." He reached out, tapping the puffed sleeve with a smirk. "And, definitely the squeakiest." Despite himself, Andy let out a small, nervous laugh. "It feels so weird. And these shoes." He shifted uncomfortably, his heels clicking against the polished floor. "I feel like I'm going to fall over at any second." Will grinned. "Then it's a good thing I'm here to catch you." Andy blinked up at him, his nerves still present but slightly less overwhelming now. Will had that effect on him, always knowing just what to say, always making things feel okay. "You've got this," Will continued, nudging Andy's arm. "Your sister wanted you to stand by her side because she knew you could do this. And hey, if you start feeling wobbly, just hold on to me." Andy took a deep breath. The dress was still tight, still strange, but suddenly, it didn't feel quite so suffocating. He nodded, standing up a little straighter. "Okay," he said softly. Will's eyes twinkled. "That's my best friend." And as the music swelled, signaling the bridal party's entrance, Andy took his first step forward, not alone, not afraid, but with a friend by his side, ready to catch him if he fell. Andy and Will lingered near the doorway, half hidden from the bustle of the ballroom. The sounds of clinking glasses, murmured conversations, and occasional bursts of laughter filled the space. But in their little corner, it was just them. "You know," Will said, leaning against the doorframe with an easy smirk, "you could make this easier on yourself." Andy shot him a wary glance. "How?" "Confidence." Will struck a dramatic pose, puffing out his chest. "You gotta own it. Walk in there like you know you're the most stunning person in the room." Andy scoffed. "Will, I'm in a latex dress that squeaks when I move." "Exactly. That just makes you unforgettable." Will gave his friend a playful nudge. "Besides, you do look really good, you know." Andy felt warmth rise to his cheeks. He looked down, twisting the fabric of his dress between his fingers. "It's just weird," he admitted. "I'm not used to this. The dress, the shoes, everything. I feel like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not." Will's expression softened. "You're not pretending, Andy. You're just being brave." Andy blinked up at him. "Your sister wanted you to be a part of this day, in this way, because she sees you as someone who can pull it off," Will continued. "And she's right. I mean, yeah, it's different, but you make it work." Andy exhaled a slow breath, some of the tension in his shoulders melting. "Thanks, Will. Any time." For a moment, they just stood there, the noise of the wedding reception humming around them. Then Andy glanced back toward the ballroom, watching the swirl of dresses and suits moving across the dance floor. It was time to go back in. He shifted his weight onto one foot, hesitated, then in a small voice asked, "Hey, would it be okay if I, He cleared his throat, suddenly feeling foolish. "If I held your hand?" Will raised an eyebrow, but his smile didn't waver. "Why?" Andy winced. "Just to, stop me from wobbling." Will's grin widened, but he didn't tease. He simply held out his hand, palm up. "Of course, Andy." Andy hesitated for only a second before slipping his fingers into Will's. The warmth of it, the steady, reassuring weight of someone there, grounded him more than he expected. His nerves were still there, fluttering at the edges, but somehow, holding Will's hand made them quieter. Will gave a gentle squeeze. "Let's do this." And together, they stepped into the ballroom. Andy's heels clicking against the floor, still slightly wobbly, still a little unsure, but steady nonetheless. As they stepped further into the ballroom, Andy's heart pounded just a little harder against his ribs. His fingers, still curled around Will's, felt like they were holding on to something far more delicate than just a steadying grip. His tummy fluttered. He stole a glance at Will, who was guiding him through the crowd with casual confidence, offering the occasional reassuring squeeze of his hand. Andy had always liked Will. He was his best friend after all, but this warm, fizzy feeling bubbling up inside him, it wasn't something he'd ever really paid attention to before. He'd never needed to. But now he was holding Will's hand, and it felt different. Not weird, not wrong, just something. Something he didn't quite have the words for yet. As they made their way toward the main part of the ballroom, Andy did his best to ignore the way his stomach seemed to be flipping itself inside out. Across the room, however, Aunt Jane and his mother Maria had noticed. Standing near the floral arrangements, champagne flutes in hand, the two women had been deep in conversation about some cousin's unfortunate choice in wedding attire. Ruffles should never be that aggressive, according to Jane, when Maria's eyes flicked across the ballroom. She stopped mid-sentence. Jane followed her gaze. It took about 2 seconds for a knowing smile to spread across her face. "Oh, look at that." Maria's lips twitched. "They're holding hands." Jane sipped her champagne, watching as Will leaned down to say something to Andy, earning a quiet laugh from the younger boy. "Adorable, isn't it?" Maria hummed, her head tilting slightly. "You think he realizes?" Jane snorted. "Oh, absolutely not. Andy, that boy is as clueless as they come." Maria chuckled. "He's had a lot on his mind today." Jane nodded toward them. "You should have seen how nervous he was earlier. You and I were excited, of course, but I don't think anyone calmed him down quite like that one." She gestured toward Will with a small tilt of her glass. Maria smiled softly, watching as Will, still holding Andy's hand, gently adjusted the sleeve of his latex dress, smoothing out an imaginary wrinkle as he spoke. Andy, pink in the cheeks, let him. "Oh, I've known for years," Maria said simply. Jane arched a brow. "Known what, exactly?" Maria took a slow sip of her champagne, her smile never fading. "Let's just say," she murmured, "I have a feeling this won't be the last wedding they attend together." Jane let out a delighted laugh. "Oh, Maria, you romantic you!" Maria simply winked, then turned her attention back to her son, who was still utterly unaware of the amused, knowing glances being thrown his way. Andy was far too busy trying to figure out why his heart wouldn't stop racing.